What type of craziness is that title saying is probably what's in your head right now. How can I possibly be getting ahead and learning to actually make mistakes and being good for you? Well, jump in right now because it's probably one of the biggest things that's holding you back from even greater success. Let's just call a spade for the time being and acknowledge the fact that mistakes are necessary and they do help us grow. And in the last few years, we've heard every man and his dog talk about how great it is to make mistakes, and we should embrace those mistakes, and we should be able to learn from them, etc. All of that is 100% true, but there's one part to it that you need to be able to get on top of right now that most business owners really struggle to do so. So let me just take a sidestep for a moment. For me personally, I actually think that a mistake is something that you allow to happen for a second time. I think a lot of the time, good things happen in our life and in business, bad things happen, challenges come, the speed bumps, all these different scenarios, different metaphors we could use, different stories. We could phrase it 1,000 different ways. Ultimately, at the end of the day, these things happen, right? Things. Let's just term them things. These things happen. But if we allow them to happen in the same way a second time, that's when I really feel that it's a mistake, because that was a missed opportunity to be able to move things around, change things around. And to be totally honest, I believe we don't really ever make a mistake. We actually instead choose to allow things to occur because of a lack of us changing or modifying our behaviors or processes, etc. And so as a net result, I think that we just need to term that for mistakes. Challenges, speed bumps, good, bad, indifferent things are going to keep happening and will always happen. That's life. But it's only really a mistake if we actually allow it and choose to let that exact situation occur a second time. All right? So if we actually put that into place, which I'm struggling to ever have anyone argue back and say, no, that's wrong, because it actually is completely right. I mean, obviously, if we're going to take full ownership and accountability of everything that we say and do and everything it says and does in and around us, then we have to make sure that we know that to be true. So with that being said, one of the biggest things, and this is the whole catalyst of this podcast, is the fact that most business owners, although we might say that we embrace making mistakes. So I'm back into it right now. I know there was a little bit of a break in transmission there. So getting stuck back into it. When we talk about mistakes, it's really one of the biggest challenges is that we don't see business owners really actually learning to try and make mistakes. So we're all very happy and well to try and be good leaders and say, oh yes, we like mistakes and I learn from my mistakes and all that rhetoric. But how many times do you actually try and go out and make mistakes? And you might think, why would you do that, Jason? And why would you tell people to do that? Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, the true situation is this: most of us are much more comfortable with using words and trying to take the high road and trying to actually say we embrace mistakes and we're okay to do this and blah, 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 when in matter of fact, we actually don't. We like to pretend we are and we like to say we are, but we often don't do what's needed. We don't take those extra little risks. We don't allow ourselves to make changes and put things out in place because we invest too much time. And I'm not going to say invest, I should say spend. We spend too much time trying to convince ourselves of doing or not doing something. We spend too much time scrutinizing over the finer details about whether something is perfect before we actually do it, because we don't want to make it a mistake. We don't want to, have any problems. We don't want to, we want to get the best result possible. So we end up procrastinating. We end up wasting way too much time and effort, and it is a waste, not an investment. We waste too much time and too much effort in trying to make things perfect when we didn't need to. And that comes down to a scarcity mentality. It comes down to the fact that whilst on one hand we try and tell people, yes, we embrace change and I love making mistakes because I learn from them. And, I've always learned from my mistakes and all those things. And we like to make ourselves feel better and puffing out our chest and having a bit of bravado around that. When you actually stop and have a good hard look at your own actions and behaviors, is that really true? Or are we just actually making excuses and lying to ourselves? Now, I'm not doing this to be critical and to have a jibe at yourself, but to be totally honest, I can be very critical of myself for doing this as well. It's very easy to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to do this or I do that and blah, blah, blah. But myself, just as much as everyone else, we still love to procrastinate. We still don't just go head on, full on into doing what we need to. We haven't actually really learnt that making mistakes is actually good for growth. Now, let me just step back for a moment on this as well, because I'm not for one moment saying that you should go like a bullet a gate at everything. Just go and do it. Fuck it, Jay said, just go and do it and move quicker, make faster decisions, do this, do that, and not think and not do your due diligence and not be smart about what you do. I'm not saying that at all, because that would be foolish, not smart, efficient, effective, and professional. So that's not what I'm saying. But there is a very big difference between being foolish and headstrong and stupid in many respects and flying into things when you shouldn't, and actually procrastinating, overthinking things, stopping and trying to make things perfect, etc. There is a big gap between having those on different ends of the, on a continuum, basically. So what we actually do need to do is take a good hard look at ourselves, at our actions and our behaviors. And I don't think that any of us really do learn to make mistakes. We might learn from our mistakes mostly, and we might have good intentions and like to tell people that we learn from our mistakes, but that's a big and long way from actually learning how to make mistakes. And I think when we learn to make mistakes in the right way, it means that we're going to be more efficient and more effective, and we're going to get more things done. We're going to have, more marketing done, not just stupid thrown out, throw money at Yellow Pages books and stuff, and you go, don't even know whether they're existing anymore, right? That would be a stupid waste of money. That would be silly. That would be foolish. But if we learnt to actually go and do more marketing and actually invest a small amount of effective time into more avenues, then we're naturally going to be able to embrace how to learn from mistakes, because we're going to make sure that not that we want to, but we always will make a lot of mistakes. And so therefore we're going to be able to learn quicker and learn from those mistakes. And the sooner we can learn to make 3 or 4 critical mistakes in and around a certain marketing strategy or plan or process, the quicker we can learn from it and make amends. Now, the final part about this is the fact that we're always going to make mistakes. And maybe it's every second time, or let's say every third time. Every third time you do a new marketing strategy, you're going to make a mistake. And I was chatting only probably a couple of weeks ago in a boardroom scenario with some of our boardroom clients, and I was chatting about this. And when we looked at it, it was like, how many marketing strategies have you actually got? And how often do you pull the trigger on a new one? And most people were doing one a month, one big new marketing strategy or process every month, which is great because a lot of people don't even do that. But what we started to realize is if then 1 in every 3 doesn't go too well, what that means is we get benefit for 1 month, benefit for 2 months, and then we have a month that doesn't have any benefit. And what we actually do is then wait a whole month until we actually fix it, rectify it, and have a marketing strategy that ultimately then works again, which is a really silly way of doing it. What if we actually learnt to put more of those in place and we were able to implement more quickly with the right effectiveness and due diligence, so that you made one of those big marketing avenues happen every 2 weeks, not every 4 weeks? what you've just done is you're going to get benefit for the 2 weeks, benefit for the second lot of 2 weeks, and then you're going to have a challenging scenario with no benefit. But the great thing is we're only waiting 2 more weeks until the next benefit comes along, not 4 weeks, which means we're actually pulling our problems and mistakes forward, making them happen quicker. We're learning from them, and we're able to recover, recuperate, rebuild, etc. much quicker, which means our revenues are up, our cash flows up, our profits are up. We have smoother sailing with being able to deal with challenges, and we're more agile as a business, and we have better fiscal management. So without me getting on my high horse too much, let's just be completely honest with ourselves right now. Myself, just like you, we need to be better and actually understand that we need to learn to make more mistakes more quickly and then learn from our mistakes, and not just pay lip service to, oh, I learned from my mistakes. All of us can improve on that. All of us can learn to be more effective in this area, to be able to make more mistakes more quickly, learn from them, and move forward as a net result. Hope that helps. Let's go forward and actually embrace it, not pay lip service to mistakes, and instead learn to make more mistakes and then learn from those to get ahead and have more success and more impact from there. I'll talk to you again very soon. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.